So thank you for listening to my video again. I just want to talk about the effectiveness of the label Islamophobia, and I want to question just, is it effective? So the definition of Islamophobia is an intense dislike or fear of Islam. And I want to question, is it fair to dislike or fear Islam? So if we think back to the 11th of September 2001, where 2,996 people died during the attack on the World Trade Center, and also 6,000 people were injured. The official story from the authorities and establishment is that this attack was an Islamic terrorist attack. Confusingly, and in a contradictory manner, they also termed Islam as a religion of peace. Now, what we know is that thousands of people lost their lives and thousands of people were harmed during a religion of peace action against the people who presumably was an action against those who were not Islamic. We'll never know because the terrorists died. But since the 9/11 World Trade Center terrorist attack, there has been worldwide 31,805 Islamic terrorist attacks. So to call this religion or ideology a religion of peace is absolutely evidently a contradiction. Beyond the terrorist attacks, there are also mass rapes taking place in Europe and in the UK. So in the UK, for example, there have been numbers of rape grooming gangs which have averaged out to be potentially 91% of those gangs consisting of Pakistani Muslims, again related to Islam. And when you consider that the population of Pakistani Muslims is less than 5% of the British population, that's quite a considerable amount. The argument is that not all Muslims are like this, which is true, not all Muslims are. But I want to consider Nazi Germany at this point, when you raise that. So the Nazi Germans, they murdered and, horrendously killed in the most despicable manner Jews, the disabled and homosexuals. Now, did all Nazi Germans do that? Did they all murder? No, they certainly didn't, but the majority of them stayed silent as this happened to people around them. They enabled these acts to happen. So, if Muslims are a religion of peace, and Islam is a religion of peace, but they are enabling these horrifying and horrific actions to take place against non-Muslims and infidels, then really, are they a religion of peace? They're passive, but on the other side of the spectrum, they are incredibly actionable and terroristic, towards other people. So, as with the Nazi Germans, the fearsome minority which that ideology held was so easily feared. You know, people are terrified of Nazis, and understandably so. You may be a passive Nazi, but you're still you're agreeing with the torture and the murders of Jews and disabled people and homosexuals. So how can people possibly stand by and feel that despite your passiveness, you are a gracious person? No one's going to think that. And similarly with Islam. If you believe in Islam, and then there's this horrific few who are terrorising infidels and non-Muslims, raping them because they are not involved in your ideology, and you remain passive, you are enabling it. So does that make you just as bad? Does it make Islam a better, Islamophobia, an acceptable terminology to use in today's society? No, it doesn't. If they're not speaking out against what's going on, which currently they aren't, then everyone has a right to fear Islam. Thank you for listening to my videos. I'm trying to speak out about things. I'm trying to question everything, because after I suffered a traumatic event, my whole perception of life has changed massively, and I want to speak openly and confidently about all these concerns which are arising in my mind. I've got to say, I was very much a social justice warrior until I was raped by an Asian immigrant, and then all of a sudden I came to a realisation that I felt guilty and I shouldn't do. So I want to speak openly about this. I want to question everything now. I've never thought critically about what we were told, and I really need to do that, and I encourage you to do the same. If you'd like to support me, please find me on Patreon, and I would appreciate anybody's help and anyone's interest. Thank you.